Hey, it's Jordan from Jersey, and here are some of the comics I read the week of July 15th, 2009. First, a brief mention of Timestorm, 2009, 2099. Unless you're a big fan of the 2099 series from, gosh, it's been like 15 years now, don't even bother. I enjoy it to an extent because I'm familiar with all those old stories. Back when I got into comics, those were some of the first back issues I picked up because Spider-Man 2099's costume was incredible. But if you don't know the universe, don't even bother. It's probably just a waste of your time. Next up, we have Deadpool, issue number 12. This issue continues the fight between Deadpool and Bullseye/Hawkeye that's been going on between those two for the last issue, but also between him and the Dark Avengers for the last few issues. It's hilarious. Both characters try to outsmart each other, and as you could imagine, that has hilarious results. And the ending's a bit befuddling to me and several other people I've talked to about it, so check it out. Hilarious book as always. Up next, I'd love to review Dark Avengers number 7 for you, however, kind of forgot to pick it up at the comic book store and didn't realize I'd missed it until half an hour ago, so I'll review it in a back issue episode later. Sorry. So instead, I guess I'll review Mr. Negative, issue 2 of 3, with the awesome Negative spider suit on the front cover. This series is much better than I thought it was going to be, and much better than you'd probably think a tie-in series to a Marvel event about a villain you've never really heard of is. Now, I have heard of him. I've been following Amazing Spider-Man, and he's been an up-and-coming villain since Brand New Day. This issue continues the story found in issue 1, where Mr. Negative has negated Spider-Man, if you will. Apparently he has negative touch, where if he touches you, you become an opposite version of yourself. And Spider-Man is so good that Negative Spider-Man is incredibly evil, but awesome, and still kind of funny. A lot happens in this issue, and I can't wait for issue 3 of 3 to find out who's going to win between the Hood and Mr. Negative, whether Spider-Man will be forced to kill Betty Brant, and what's going on with Mr. Negative's wife. Guess we'll find out next month. And we'll finish things up today by reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man 599. That's right, the big 600 is just a few days away. Cannot wait for that. But this issue is great in its own right. At the end of last issue, we knew that Harry Osborn was American Son, a new armored superhero. However, it was hard to tell whether he was going to be fighting his father or Spider-Man. Turns out it's a little of both, but mostly his father, and boy does he fight him. He fights him so hard that, well, let's just say he beats his father to a bloody pulp. Now, while the issue and the story itself are awesome, I do unfortunately have to point out the art. 3 artists on one book, Marvel? Seriously? I mean, look, I understand they have a schedule to keep, and they've got to get out issue 600, but there's 3 different artists on here, and they're not all of the same caliber. Some is great, some isn't. So, it's noticeable, let's just put it that way. One giant plus of this issue is that by the end of it, it looks like we won't have to see the American Son costume again, or at least not in its current form, which I'm thankful for, because it was kind of weird looking. Well, that's it for this week's comics. See you next week for even more new books, and maybe even some back issues.